Once again, my name is Nob, and this is part 3 to the law topic. The Tanach law, meaning the so-called Old Testament law, versus the law of the land, which is the so-called Constitution, versus UCC, colorable code, uniform UCC, uniform commercial code. You hear the word uniform commercial code. You see the word commerce, because America is a big commerce, has turned to a big commerce. America is a bankrupt business corporation. You see, under a corporation, you can have a bunch of different businesses, and those businesses and the American corporation, those businesses are called people. Each person, each American citizen in America under the UCC is a business. And it all started the minute you're born. You receive a birth certificate. That's what the birth certificate is. Turn a person to a business. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with this. You've heard something, and some of you never heard anything. And some of you then couldn't care less. Those of you who couldn't care less, this is not for you. Whatever you care about, go do it over there, wherever you gotta go. Some people there's nothing you can tell them. They're like fools. The only thing they see is just foolish stuff. They're not for laws. Laws are for smart people, wise people. No laws, that's for animals. Even animals got a few laws they gotta follow. No rules, that's for animals and idiots. Lawless people. If you're a lawless person, you're a beast, according to the Bible. If you're not following the Most High's laws, you're a beast. If you're not following any law, if you're a lawless person, you're a beast. You're an animal. And in fact, you're worse than an animal, because animals, they gotta follow laws. So those of you who think you can live life lawlessly, you're an idiot. Because there's nothing you can do in life without following laws, without following some rules. I don't care what it is. If there's a game you're playing, that game has no rules, that's not a game. That's some madness you're doing. That's some crazy stuff you're doing. That's like taking a bunch of crazy people, put them somewhere and let them run around. Give them a few balls. Just that's some craziness. Laws or rules controls everything. Everything. Even things what you're building, anything, you gotta follow some rules to build it. You playing a game, you gotta follow some rules. You even cutting somebody's hair, you gotta follow some rules. You don't follow some rules to even cut somebody's hair, his head gonna look like Kanye West's head. When Kanye West just have somebody just took something and some raisin, just that's what you're gonna look like. Some nutcase, some lunatic, some psychotic person, some crazy thing. So those of you not into laws, you think, who the hell are people telling me about laws? I ain't following no law. I'm a God. You ain't no God. You're a God of what? In fact, you take the word God, you read it backward, you're a dog. You're not a God. You're not into following laws, something is wrong with you. I'm telling you that 100%. I'm not biting my tongue. Something is wrong with you. That's what Christianity is about. The devil that doesn't even exist, that they created. If it's not physical, it does not exist. If it's not physical, even the so-called God of the Bible, he's physical. He's a physical man. He eats physical food. He sleeps. He does everything. He made people in his image to be like him. Well, certain people he made to be like him, these are replicas. And certain people he made to be not like him, to be another him. These are the gods, the so-called gods. People he put on earth. And these are not, they were not made like him. They were made like to be him on earth, not like him. Like Adam, before the serpents remove the Most High out of him, because I already had videos that broke that down. You have two creations. You have a creation where man was made to be like the Most High, in the image of the Most High, like the Most High, way back then. I don't know whether it's hundreds of thousands, millions of years, whatever. And then from there jump to another creation, which is only 6,000 years ago, where man not only was made like the Most High, like the other men, something extra was done to them. Well, to him, not them. Him, Adam. The Most High said he breathed something in his nostril, and then Adam became a living person. And then the serpent came and undid that. Now Adam became a dead person, a dead man walking, and then have a bunch of children. That was a bunch of dead people walking, just like the other creations before. People that are just like animals. So the Most High, that's why they always say the Most High is a living so-called God. So Adam was made a living creature. So you people on earth, all of you, you're not living things. You're dead things. Adam was a living thing, a living person. When the Most High breathed that thing in his nostril, then he became that living, he became a God. A so-called God. I gotta use the word God, but although the word God is garbage, but I already have videos breaking down God. So he became a El, like an Elohim. Elo. He became one of those. And then the serpent took that breath from him. Now he became a dead man. Because the Most High did tell him, the Most High did commend him, not advise him. That's why I'm saying that the American law, these are advices, whatever. You can do whatever you want to do, as long as you don't do anything bad to people. And the Most High's law, the Most High is a dictator. He's not can we vote if people want to do this or not? No. None of that. Most High say, look, I am commending you, Adam, not to go over there and mess with that guy. And that guy, he's a mystical snake. He's not a snake, because snakes, real snakes, they're on the floor. You can see real snakes. He's a serpent. He's not a snake. He's a mystical snake. He's a psychic. He's a wizard. He's Santa Claus. He is Jesus. He is Buddha. He is Muhammad. He's a shaman. He's an imam. He's a organ. He's a voodoo priest. That's what that serpent was. He's a scorpion king. He's one of those guys. He's a pharaoh. He's one of those wizards. He's a Chaldean, one of those guys. He's a demon. He's like Pop Smoke, a blue demon. Well, he wasn't a crip. He's just a demon. Stay away from him. Because this guy, you go talk to this guy, go deal with this guy, he got something for you. Guy's gonna kill you. And the serpent called Eve, since Adam knew better. Adam was the leader, was the man, but he was a sucker for love. So he called Eve, yo, Eve, what's up, Eve? What's up? You know, hey, pretty lady, what's up? You know, did this guy, Adam, and his God, or whoever that guy is, did they tell you, don't talk to me? That I'm a bad guy? And I got things that's gonna make you die? And she started stuttering. Yeah, you know, this, yeah, I heard, yeah, that. I heard they said, you know, I can eat all these things, but the one in this thing, this fruit, you know, the one that I think your thing, they said, I think your thing, I think if I eat it, if I deal with you, I'm going to die. Basically, that's what they told me. That's what Eve, you know, Eve told the serpent, that crazy man. And that was a real man. He wasn't no devil in red suit, like church trying to make you. No, he was a guy. Most likely a king. They had a bunch of people under him. A wizard, a big scorpion king. He probably was maybe not the first scorpion king. Probably one of those scorpion king, one of those serpent king. He's probably like Kukulkan, that serpent, the flying serpent that the so-called Americans, the people in early America was worshiping. It's funny how I went to Mexico. I went to those pyramids. You know, I went to the one in the pyramid, Chichen Itzla. It sounds like chicken and pizza. Chichen Itzla, over there. And then that's the pyramid of Kukulkan. The one, the guy, the other, they call Quetzalcoatl. That guy. Supposedly he's a flying serpent. All that means he wasn't no snake that fly. That means that guy, he had so much power. Wherever he came from, whatever technology he had, he was a king. That the power of flight. What's the power of flight? Maybe he had a helicopter. He had something that could fly. That's all that means. Doesn't mean he was a serpent that was flying in the sky. Doesn't mean that. He was some dude. In fact, when I went to Mexico another time, I had bought this thing, which I give it to my neighbor because I was scared of it. After a while, everybody said, "Look, this thing looked like a demonic stuff." You had this dude again, Kukulkan, sitting down in something that looks like a jet, a spaceship that he's sitting down. I wish I had it, but I give it to my neighbor next door. It was all pure silver, but I'm like, that was some demonic stuff. So I'm like, yo, when I warned him, I'm like, look, I don't know, this thing looked crazy to me. You know, it's all pure silver, very heavy. I bought it in Mexico. I don't care about the silver, but I think this thing, there's something weird about that thing. So I'm like, do you want it? He said, okay. He took it. So I don't know what he did. Maybe he sold it. You know, every place that's trying to sell that thing, the people was always scared of that thing. He said, no, that thing looked like it was some magic, some crazy demonic stuff. I remember when I had my brother-in-law at the house a few years ago. Then I told him, yo, what do you see in this thing? My brother-in-law, Dominique. I'm like, yo, what do you see in this thing, in this silver thing? And he looked at it like, yo, this thing look very demonic. And I'm like, yo, you don't see a man sitting here, you don't see the smoke? That's something that was something, a real statue that's still on pyramids thousands of years. Where you see a guy actually in something that's flying, that's getting ready to take off to go to the sky. That was Kukulkan. Kukulkan. Kan means in a lot of languages. Kan means serpents. So kukulkan, that's why they call them the flying serpents. So every time you see, especially in ancient antiquity languages, you'll see kan, which is CAN. I wonder if this kan has anything to do with Canada. Canada, I don't know. I don't know what that word means. But kan, kukulkan, flying serpents. When you see Vulcan, the Roman god, kan, that's the a fire serpent. Vulcan. He's a god of fire for the Romans. All the Romans, whatever language they speak, whatever language the Americans, the so-called Native Americans in America speak, or at least they have the same word. I don't know. Maybe the Roman language has something to do with the people in America. Vulcan, Kukulkan, Vatican. A lot of you have heard Vatican, the Vatican, Vatican. The word Vatican, the kun in the Vatican is also snake. These people, I don't know, human beings are obsessed with snakes, snake gods. Obsessed with snake gods. I don't know why. So, I already talked about the serpent talking to Adam and Eve and get them to lose the spirit that the Most High put in them. Well, especially Adam. I mean, with Eve, it says took Adam's ribs and did something. That's a different type of parable. Different dark way of explaining how Eve came about. But Adam, is like a regular man that was turned to a so-called God. The Most High putting that spirit in him. I guess had to put it also in Eve, but I'm not gonna assume with Eve, but let me stick with Adam. So the serpent gave it to Eve, and Eve gave it to Adam. And as soon as they got that thing from the serpent, what happened to them? They knew they were naked. They knew they died. They knew the thing when the Most High told them, look, do not go over there. This guy gonna kill you. And then he managed to convince Eve, nah, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna turn you to, you're a child of the Most High. I'm gonna turn you into an adult. I'm gonna teach you how to really commit adultery. Okay, maybe he didn't say this, but I'm gonna turn you to a god. Although, since he was a serpent, whatever he said was the opposite of what happened. What was the opposite? Instead of they were already a so-called God, because the Most High breathed the spirit in them. Some genetically made them to be gods on earth, so-called gods on earth. Superhumans on earth compared to the other humans that's been around. And then with their stupidity, they went to the serpent, who was jealous because he didn't have that. These type of people and their leader were regular people. And they didn't like the fact that the Most High, now you have a bunch of people on earth living, different type of people on earth, then the Most High now somehow took one of them, Adam, because it says Adam was, he was also form of the dust of the ground too, meaning he was a regular human being. That's all that means. It wasn't really mud. The Most High took mud and made him. And now regular other people living on earth see, oh wow, Why these those two why they gotta be the gods? Why they like they are on they own us now. They're the intelligent one now. Now us we still like animals. So at least they didn't say anything about the people, but it said something about their leader though. The serpent, their leader, their king. I guess he was smarter than them. He knew better. He already had he was doing his little magic voodoo thing, put on people. He said, okay, listen, Adam and Eve, you two not gonna be different from us. What the hell are you? We don't care about your whatever God you talking about. I don't care about that. You're gonna have to be one of us. And then what happened? They would turn to a regular human being. Now they could die. They could die, although they still live. At least according to the Bible, Adam, he lived until 950 years. They still could live longer than the regular human beings. That probably still was dying 50 years old, 20 years old, 25 years old, 10 years old, maybe 100 years old, if they were lucky. Maybe 120 the most. And then you had this guy, Adam, who could live forever. And forever, even if it was like for 1,000,000 years and then die, that's still forever. That's a long, long, long time. Forever in the Bible doesn't always mean forever, ever, forever, ever, forever, ever. Like that guy be saying, the rapper, forever, ever, forever, ever, forever. No, that mean it means long, 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 long time, and then die. Which means if Adam had to live 1,000,000 years before he died, which I don't know, maybe 100,000 years, 200,000 years, it would have been a long time before he dies, for whatever reason that he died. I don't know. Because look at from the time he was put here, he was created like a real God was supposed to live forever, ever, forever, ever, forever, ever, whatever. It's only been 6,000 years since that Adam, the second Adam, the other Adam in Genesis, the first chapter, and 2, whatever. Those are regular human beings. Those are almost like regular animals, like us. And then when Adam messed up, the next people the Most High created to be, well, not created. Next people the Most High put on the level of God were the Israelites. So that's where the law of the Tanach comes in. These laws were given for Israelites to be so-called gods on earth. So the next people, the Most High did something to make them gods again. His sons and his daughters were the Israelites. Everybody else that came out from Adam or Noah, the other 3 sons, they were still dead people, spiritually dead people, regular human beings. Jacob, you can see that Jacob was not a regular human being. After the story of him fighting a so-called angel all night, shows you, oh, this guy is something, he's different. Because regular human beings cannot fight a so-called God all night. A regular human being cannot fight a so-called angel, so-called God for even 1 second. So this guy, Jacob, I guess because the Most High made the promise to Abraham. I don't know what the Most High did genetically to Abraham, to Isaac, and then for Jacob to be like this. Or maybe Jacob was the first one to be done like that, to the point where he could fight an angel. And after this, his name was changed. He was blessed by that angel. His name was changed from Jacob to Israel. Yisrael, a prince of the gods. He's a prince. He's another God. He's another Adam number 2, a second Adam. And then all the people that came out of him, all the people that came, his sons, those were warriors, killers. Well, killers. Well, yeah, not murderers. When they had to go to war, they took care of business. That's like when this wicked Hamite prince raped their daughter, their sister, and they set them up, and they went to war and killed all of them. And then another example, Joseph. That's another sign of them being different from other human beings on earth. Joseph had that gift where he could see things coming in his dreams. That's how he was able to become a viceroy in Egypt. These are not normal things that normal people can do. And even in our time, the descendants of the Israelites, again, like in the book of Joel says, a lot of the descendants of Israel, one thing they'll have that other regular humans don't have, they'll have dreams. To be able to dream things and see what's coming. To be able to dream things and see what's coming, that's a God spirit. Regular human beings, they're like dogs. They go to sleep, they're not able to see nothing in the future. They see things, they dream things. But whatever they see is garbage. That's regular dreams. But the nation of Israel, that's one sign, most I say for the nation of Israel to look out for in the later days. Later days, now, later and later and later. One thing nation of Israel, the children of nation of Israel have, dreams. A lot of people that died for some reason, I don't know. I'm a dreamer. A lot of things I've seen were in my dreams. 100%. A lot of people that died, way before they died, I'm like, wow, I dream about their death. Before Nipsey Hussle died, I saw. Before Pop Smoke died, I saw. Before the president of Haiti died, I saw him die in the worst way. In fact, the two worst deaths I saw, two of the worst deaths I saw in my dream was Jovenel, the president of Haiti, and somehow Nipsey Hussle. Because when it was a crazy nightmare when I saw his death. It was gonna turn into some crazy madness in the street among niggas. Shootout. So the next people on earth that was created to be like Adam, descendant of Adam, to be like little gods on earth, those are Israelites, the descendants of Jacob. And the leading tribe of the nation of Israel was Judah. And the descendants of Judah, I already spoke about. I brought out a couple of books, people in history that knew that they came from Judah. Even when they left Israel, they ran away from Israel because of war with the Romans. They went and settled somewhere else. They went and settled in Africa. They still went there with their name. They started the kingdom of Judah or kingdom of Judah in Africa. And that same kingdom, when other regular human beings came to fight against them, to destroy them, to do whatever to them, they still, and in West Coast of Africa, when they took them, they brought a lot of them to this side of the world. And some of them were already here. You see, and white supremacy history, they're not going to say, well, in Haiti, you had a bunch of niggers living here already. In America, you had a bunch of niggers living over here. They were traveling back and forth from here to Africa, to Spain, to over here, to Europe. Because people are going to wonder, like, okay, so how did they do that? So these people that you enslaved, that got enslaved, they became slaves. And I mean, these people, they had intelligence to build boats that they could travel from all the way from Brazil to Africa. That's why the word Brazil is from Brazil, which means it's a Hebrew word. They could travel from Haiti a long time ago, back and forth, trading with Africa. So how is it that they were turned to niggers then, to slaves? People are gonna want to know. But those are histories that's being hidden. But guess what? In this time, the descent of the nation Israel, true Israelites, you will wake up. Regardless of what lies being taught out there. You're gonna wake up and know who you were, and you're gonna start having dreams, as according to the Bible prophecy. And you're gonna know one by one, you're gonna know who you are. Whether you're living in Haiti, Africa, Jamaica, or any part of the world. Because of punishment for them breaking the contract between them and the Most High. Because of that, punishment was they'll be scattered throughout the whole world. A time gonna come, they're gonna wake up. That's like Ezekiel saw valley of the dry bones, like dead people, and the bones start shaking and start coming together, and then they wake up. It will happen. The nation of Israel has no choice but to wake up, because the nation of Israel, they are the only so-called gods on earth. Anybody else, you're just regular human beings. That's it. The only so-called gods on earth. The only descendants of gods on earth. Everybody else, you just, unfortunately, it's sad to tell you, you're just regular animals, human beings. That's why back then when the Most High freed the nation of Israel and they started and became a nation and found these laws, the Most High said, look, you guys got to act just like me, think just like me, smell just like me, feel just like me, walk just like me, everything just like me. And then you had other nations that saw this, and then they say, oh, can we get down too? And they say, okay, you can get down, but you're not going to be an Israelite though. You know, because you're Egyptian, whatever you are, okay, you're Egyptian, but you can follow the laws with us. You can fellowship. If you're Ethiopian, okay, you can follow, but you're not going to be one of us. You're not going to be an Israelite though. As long as you have that, as long as you know that. And then the last people, they went and converted and said, oh, you can follow these laws. You know, you can follow these laws and trying to, you know, they went to now to cave dwellers in Europe now, the Khazars. Hey, you can follow some laws too. You know, everybody, it's good for everybody. It's, you know, it's a law, you know, because life is all about following rules. Because that's what this video is about. Life is all about following rules. You cannot live life without following rules to live right. So the nation of Israel always say, okay, you want to, you know, why would we stop you from following rules to live life like a god, although you're not, you know, like a god. You know, why would we stop you? No, come follow with us. You know, so we never stop no other nation from following. They couldn't be Israelites though. You know, but later on when they converted the wrong people, they said, look, the buck stopped here. Now this thing is ours, and then they took over it as if it's theirs, and then they make sure they do whatever they gotta do to make sure the real Israelites, the real Jews, don't know who they are. As long as the real Jews are ignorant, not knowing who they are, then they can control stuff. They can go to the whole world and say, look, we are the Jews, when they are not. Something they were never supposed to do, but they did it. Because it's like the serpents. Jealous. Right? No, why are you gonna be Jews, Israelites, sons of God, and us? We just regular human beings. Nah, we're not, you know. So that's what happened to America. These people, since the time of Mayor Armstrong Rothschild, Rothschild means red shield. Rothschild, red shield. That's where the last name come from. Because after they were converted to so-called Judaism, which was never a religion, just to follow the Most High's laws, then that family, their symbol was to put a red shield on their door. That's where the word Rothschild came from. And then after they got converted, they became envious, jealous of the real Israelites. Then they came with a plan. They said, look, a time gonna come, we're gonna have to get rid of all the Israelites. Because as long as they are real Israelites, we can never be these people. And listen, you weren't born real Israelites, you can never be Israelites. You weren't born genetically real Jews, you can never be real Jews. Regardless of how much money you spend in to keep the Israelites ignorant of who they are, the real Israelites worldwide, you can never be Israelites. You were just a convert. That's it. So they came with this plan, look, we're going to take over. We're going to make sure those real Israelites, we either destroy all of them, but they're not going to know who they are. We're going to push it out there that we are those Israelites. We are the Jews. And then they came up with a plan since that dude, the first Rothschild, well, maybe not the first Rothschild, the first guy that had a couple of bucks and started a family, and he kept the name Rothschild, the first powerful one of all of them, said, look, we're gonna come up with a plan to get rid of them, and it's gonna be all about us. We're gonna come with something called the protocol of the learned elders of Zion. So I'm sure some of you already been hearing about that protocol of the learned elder of Zion. And some of you may know, some of you may not know. Those of you who know some of it already, go back and refresh your mind about what this protocol is about. We're living in the age of information now, so you have no you have no excuse at all not to go to Google and type a protocol of the learned elders of Zion. What the hell is this about? What is this Negro talking about? This Negro with the sunglasses inside a library talking about. Well, my library, my little library, whatever. What is this Negro talking about? The protocol of the learned elders of Zion. And some of you, if you have that book, Behold a Pale Horse, wherever it is it here? Okay. All right. It's not one of those books. Then it's over there. Well, it's right here, but it doesn't matter. It's called Behold a Pale Horse. Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. I'm sure that's not the only book that's breaking down the protocol of the learned elders of Zion. They're going to tell you about how these people started with the Rothschild family. That book, there's a section in it. That book is not about them, but there's a part in it. You can read that whole book. So it's a book within a book. So you can read about what is this thing what is this plot that these people came up with, how to take over. For them to take over, and under the banner of so-called Jews, them being Jews, I mean the real Jews, they gotta get rid of the real Jews. Even when you really analyze what happened in Germany, supposedly a bunch of Jews were killed. A lot. That's one version of it. One way of looking at it. One version. Now there's another version that tells you those Jews, that got murdered, those were poor Jews. Those are Jews who were against that conspiracy, the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. And the ones who were for it were already rich, have money in Germany. They were the ones financing the death of the poor ones. And that's the version I see that is true to me. I've read a lot of books about that version. So now they make it seem like it was Germans killing Jews. It was never Germans killing Jews. Hitler himself was a Jew. His mother was a Jew. Hitler knew to be Jewish, it has to do with your mother's side, not your father's side. So Hitler was a pure Jew with his little mustache, whatever, looking funny. That little midget with that little mustache. So Hitler wasn't really against Jews. Hitler was against Jews that was coming against his plot, his plan. Because Hitler, the Germans, they were the first ones to be on that vibe of taking over the whole world. The Germans they were the first ones, I guess. They were the first smart so-called white people in history. They started everything in those days, right after the caves, whatever they took over in Germany, especially a land like Germany. Where you had black people living there, but they all got murdered. Well, throughout the whole world, throughout Europe, a lot of black nations, even Italy. Italy been a black land. Now, when you go to a land that was a black land, black was running stuff. Like Italy, when you had animals, a black general with a bunch of black people fighting another black nation like the Romans, and then now you go to Italy and you see no niggas there, you know what happened. That's ethnic cleansing. I mean, all these niggas were murdered. Straight up. Which is crazy. So yeah, these people who took over America, that conspiracy goes deep, goes way back then, way before 1913 when whatever law was passed for the Federal Reserve, way before 1938 when all those judges and lawyers, officers of the court invited to here, look, America is a new America. So, way before 1943 when they passed the law, okay, well, everybody gonna have to pay taxes, income taxes, which is very unconstitutional. Way before 1943, that was a big crisis that they created, the so-called World War II, to get America in line to say, look, okay, now you can be our biatches. You can start really own us real money. So we are the creditors. That World War II, before World War II, what are the crises they created? 1936, the so-called Great Depression. That's how these people operate. They create big crises. It's almost like me, I'm the man in my house. I'm the man here. Then I want to run my house like the Bible said. Don't ever be a lion in your house. Don't be a lion in your house. You're the king already. You don't have to be a lion in there. I'm making it and you're slapping everybody. Say, I'm the king. You better listen. You don't listen, you get slapped again. No. The Bible said don't ever be a lion in your house. So imagine me want to be a lion in my house. Now I'm going to enslave my wife and the children. I'm gonna cause chaos. I'm gonna go and destroy all the food in the fridge and say, look, since there's no food, I can let you guys borrow some money. And then I'll let them borrow some money. Hey, well, each of you owe me $20 to eat. So because of this, Well, you owe me 20, and you have to pay me. You got 4 hours to pay me, and if you cannot pay me, you're gonna have to be my slaves, and you're gonna have to every morning when I wake up, when are you gonna have to brush my teeth, and when are you gonna have to clean my shoes with your tongues? When are you gonna That's what usually happened back then in antiquity to people that became slaves. You couldn't pay. If you owe somebody money, you couldn't pay. You have no choice but to be a slave. That's it. You don't have a choice. Even the story of Jacob, his name was changed to Yisrael. Even him, he saw a nice girl that he liked, and he knew, according to the law, that they were following the culture, the custom back then, even the law. Well, you cannot just take a woman and say, "This is my wife." This is not America. You cannot. No, you gotta pay a dowry. You have to pay some money. And then his uncle, that was his cousin. Well, that was his cousin that he saw that looked so good. In those days, that was normal, even in the law of the Most High. There's no law against a cousin with a cousin. Now, that's a different topic. I'm sure somebody say, "Oh wow, this is gross." Yeah, because we were taught like this. But I'm not saying that I'm doing that, but I'm just saying in the Most High's law, cousin, because a lot of us are really distant cousins. We all cousins. If we're not brothers, we are cousins. A lot of us. But anyway, so he saw this woman, this girl, this sexy, pretty, whatever he wanted, but he didn't have no money. And then he went to the girl's father and said, "Look, I don't have no money. I'm supposed to pay before she can become my wife. How about I work for you? How about I become your slave, your servant for 7 years?" And the girl's father, who was also Jacob's uncle, Laban, he said, "Oh, cool. So you work for me 7 years. You take care of my sheep. You water them. You shower them. You feed them. Whatever. You groom them. You pet. You do everything for them. You make sure they have kids. And the kids are good. For 7 years, you can do this. Then I'm gonna give you my daughter." And Jacob said, "Okay, cool." And Jacob worked for 7 years, and then time for him to be free, just like in the law, even in the law of Moses, because this topic is the Tanach law versus the law of the land versus UCC. So now this is the Tanakh law. So even in the Tanakh law, it says the same thing. You get a woman, you have to pay dowry, straight up, to the father, and the father obviously is the head of the household. I guess you're gonna split it with his wife and his children, whatever. So you have to pay to the father of the woman the dowry. So even which means even in the time of Jacob, they had the laws. They had the law of the Tanakh. It wasn't just, I guess Moses brought back the law, but all these laws, they were there. So Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel, and then 7 years came, wedding happened. He went and tapped our ass. I mean, tapped. Okay, in case kids listening, just tap. Okay, he went and did his thing. He went and knocked the boots. That's a better term. Okay, he went and knocked the boots, and then he woke up in the morning. I guess in those days, these women, they look like Muslims. The way Muslim look. Maybe all Jacob saw that night, just the eyes. They look like ninjas. They had the veil, couldn't see. He woke up the next day, and he woke up like, "Oh, what the hell? That's not Rachel. That's Rachel's sister. That's Leah. That's not what I wanted. No disrespect, Leah, but I don't mind. You got some funny droopy eyes or whatever, whatever she." Okay, basically he's like, "Look, my heart really is for Rachel, not for you." So now he woke up, he put on his clothes, whether he took a shower or no. So he went to the father like, "Yo, what in the hell what are you doing, man? I worked 7 years. I was your slave for 7 years. Because I'm your relative, you could only do 7 years. And then after I worked 7 years, you gave me the wrong person." And Laban, who was a crook, was a hustler. He knew exactly what he was doing. He said, "Oh, listen, man, I forgot to tell you, we cannot marry the youngest one before the oldest one. That makes no sense in our culture." So I knew all along. I was taking you for a ride for 7 years. You're gonna find out. Then I'm gonna have to explain to you. Okay, that's the way it works. Although you were ignorant of our law, you should have known. Of our culture, you should have known. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. I guess that's what he told Jacob. That's like Biggie said. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. So now, okay, well, if you really want this one now, the one that you really want, since you really, really want her more than the one that you got, you can just take her and go away. But since you really, really want that one, the price gonna be different because LeBan was a hustler. The price gonna have to be double. That's what people do when they see you really, really want something, and they change the price. They say, well, the price gonna be different since you really, really want this one. So it's gonna be double. So Jacob had no choice since he really wanted Rachel. So he worked for another double time. Just like in the military when they tell you to run double time. So he had to do a double time. Not a one time, but double time. He had to work for 14 years now. And then after 14 years, he got both wives. Because that was according to the law of the Most High. That a man, he can get as many wives that he wants. And Jacob knew that, and Rachel and Laban knew that. I said, okay, well, so what? You already got a wife, but you want the second wife, then you got to work more so you can have your second wife. And then you got his second wife, and then two more wives, secondary wives called concubines, came also. So now he got 4 wives. I guess that was enough for him. Four is a good number. 4 is definitely a good number. I like 4. 4 is definitely a good number. So he had 4 wives, 2 primary and 2 secondary. So the secondary, I guess they were there to the work that the primary didn't want to do. The secondary wives had to do. So you're like, okay, you're not the primary wives, or you just a secondary. So we're not mopping the floor. You mop the floor. I guess that's how it worked back then. So I guess you get some primary wives. Say, how about you guys cook? Or whatever you want to do. What does it want to do? And the secondary ones, so everything the primary don't want to do, you secondary, you do. Who's gonna sweep the backyard? Oh, definitely the secondary, not the primary. Primary still sleeping in the morning. Early in the morning, just like in Haiti, they do. Wake up very early. So who's gonna wake up and do breakfast at 6 in the morning, like the military? Well, definitely not the primary. The primary, no, we sleeping still. Secondary, that's your job. And if you don't like it, well, unfortunately, you have no choice. Because a lot of times, secondary, they're like slave type of wives, especially if you were bought with money in those days. You had no choice. That's what happened to America. When you were bought as a slave, you have no rights. Whatever they tell you, that's what you do. They say you pay taxes, that's what you do. And if you don't, you go to jail. And it's funny how they use the maritime part of the Constitution to force people to do everything they don't want to do. Everything, whatever it is. And the maritime say, look, our international law had to be broken first, had to be breached first. And the idiots that chose the maritime part of the Constitution, they said, maybe they're not going to notice. And if they do, we're going to tell them, screw you. You don't have to breach no maritime law. You just, whatever it is. If right now they wake up and say, Well, it's funny how even with COVID, they just wake up and tell everybody, yo, you gotta wear masks. Before they wear masks, before they even thought about, saying masks. And I was reading when in the early 1900s, maybe 1915, 1918, I think it was 1918, when they had the Spanish flu, they call it. Then people were wearing masks. And I was reading that before they even thought about making people wear masks. I'm like, shit, damn, there's a possibility they're gonna start making people wear masks. Just like, when that breakout happened, 1918, whatever, that influenza, whatever they call it, influenza. I don't know why they call it influenza. It sounds like influence. I don't know. Influenza, cold, flu. Then they started to make people. They're starting to force people to wear masks. I'm like, oh wow, that's what's about to go down. And I'm like, wow, if they force people to wear masks, oh shit, it's gonna be chaos out there. It's gonna be chaos, especially with all these criminals out there who always want to wear masks. Now they can legally wear masks. Crime gonna be crazy. So that was all the plot. That was all the plan. And then before you know it, they tell people you gotta wear masks because you're not wearing masks for yourself. You really wearing masks for your brothers, so you don't get them sick. What kind of BS is this? That's why Canada recently, they all went crazy in Canada. Say, look, we shut down everything until these people tell us, it took away this freaking mask law. And Canada got scared. America was the next got scared. Said, okay, don't worry about masks. These people, wow, these people got balls. They just wake up and say, look, me, I'm like, okay, how these people, when they're about to make people wear masks, I'm like, yo, what kind of law they gonna use on people to say, look, you have to wear masks? These people just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and say, look, everybody better wear masks. And if you don't wear masks, you're gonna be in trouble. I'm like, what? What kind of pussycat you have living in America? Wow, this is crazy. You got people wearing masks still now, although it looks safe. Like it looks like, oh, nobody catching that thing anymore, unless they bring it back. Hopefully, they don't bring it back through vaccines again or flu shots. Shots, they call them flu shots when they're not really flu shots. They're COVID shots. Hopefully, they don't bring it back again. So I'm like, nah, there's no way. I'm like, yo, let me see how gangster these people are gonna get. How they really gonna get people to wear masks? Before you know it, you gotta wear masks. I remember I'm on the streets. I'm seeing police stopping people. I remember. I guess that day after this, they didn't do that anymore. But I'm like, they actually stopped stopping people, trying to arrest them. Going to take you. Where's your mask? I'm like, what? What kind of craziness going on? These people. What? These people are crazy. These people are not normal people. These people I'm like, that's what's happening here. These people, they can just wake up and say, look, all of you better start walking around with condoms on your nose. And then you're going to have some so-called Karens say, where's your condom? Why you don't have no condom in your nose? I'm like, what? These people are crazy. They can wake up and say, everybody got to wear a condom in their nose. And then us as a bunch of idiots are going to say, okay, master, yeah. Condom, what color? These people got no balls. That's what happened when, oh man, this is some crazy stuff. But anyway, so let me get back to, because I'm about to end this video. This is the third one. Like I said, it's going to take time to do more videos about the law and then get to the history yet. So, yes, with the Admiralty law, the only way for you in the Constitution, the so-called law of the land, the only way for you to be guilty of that, you had to breach some type of international agreement, contract. Some contract that has to do with some type of sea thing going on. Some maritime law, whether, I don't know, maybe you took your house, you go and put it in the middle of the sea, and then you want to do a business there. I don't know how. And then now, because of this, you got to follow those laws. You have to breach some type of international law. That has to do with seas, overseas or seas, whatever seas. And then now, that's according to the Constitution. But these people took that part of the Constitution. They said, don't worry about it. You don't have to breach nothing. Since this is the only part of the Constitution that says I can find you a criminal and punish you, we're just going to use this. So whatever you do, we're just going to punish you. You don't even have to hurt nobody. You don't have to damage nothing. You do something. We say you're not supposed to take Motrin every day at 9 a.m. We catch you taking Motrin at any day, 9 a.m., you're going to jail. They're like, what? I didn't damage anybody. I didn't damage nobody's property. What? They say we don't care about none of this because we are operating under the admiralty part of the Constitution. And you're like, well, listen, admiralty, isn't that pertain to sea? Well, don't worry about it. Well, are you trying to be slick? One more word out of you, going straight to jail. You're like, no, hold on. But before I end this video, there are certain verbiage you have to use to corner these people when you're in court, to make them say, okay, you got me. All right, go away. Hey, don't worry about your case. It was a mistake. There are certain things you have to know what to say, especially and use their own law. The game they playing, beat them in their own game. I mean, for those who you living in the land, they playing games. Exactly, they definitely playing games. You have to learn the rules of the game. How you gonna play? You wanna play basketball? You don't know the rules. How you gonna play basketball? You're not playing basketball. You're not playing anything. You wanna play soccer? You don't know the rules of soccer. Then you're not playing soccer. Imagine you know how to play volleyball. You definitely know all the rules about volleyball. But they put you on a soccer field. They give you a soccer ball. Then you start playing volleyball with it. What do you think? What do you think is gonna happen to your team? You think you're gonna win? No, you're gonna lose. So it should behoove everybody. You have to learn. Well, I don't care what land you're in right now. You're in Canada. You're in France. You're in Italy. Wherever you are, learn the game, their game, whatever game they're playing. Because in this time we're living in, it's like these people only playing games. Learn the games and the rules, and then see if you can use it so you can free yourself sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes, like they say, whoever pays the piper picks the tune. Whoever's paying is the one that's going to have the big mouth. They're going to say, look, I don't care. I'm the one paying. Shut the hell up. You go do this. You go do whatever do I tell you to do. That's it. And that's it. So there are verbiage you have to learn to corner them. Corner them in their own game. When the only thing is, the most important thing is, you have to try to get them to admit this number one thing. Admit, what kind of laws you guys using on us? Like, are you guys using admiralty thing? Because you have to corner them somehow. Get them to admit something. Admit, if they can admit anything, then that's when the ball is in your corner. That's when the ball is in your corner. Now it's your time to shoot. Now it's your time to do your thing. Then you can be nice and proper and professional if you really want to get your way according to the Constitution, not according to UCC. The hell with UCC. According to all the UCC, that's what they're forcing people to follow, according to the Constitution. Then you can try to paint a picture for them to see, that's the game you're playing. But since you're playing this game, I didn't know you were playing this game. So because you're playing this game, then now I need some proof now. I need, so you can use proper verbiage to tell them, well, I didn't know that I got involved with an international maritime contract because that's what they're using on you. I didn't know I was involved in an international maritime contract. So in good faith, I deny that such a contract even exists. So truthfully, I'm telling you, I don't think. Now you have to tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. What you? There's a contract like this. That's why now I have to pay you taxes. There's a contract like this. That's why you tell me I cannot drive as fast as I want. That's why you say I must register my car. I didn't notice. Oh, so if this court is taking jurisdiction in admiralty, then pursuant to section 3-501 of your UCC, the prosecutor will have no difficulty placing the alleged contract into evidence so that it may examine and possibly challenge the validity of the contract. So you got to get them to admit first. And then, okay, that's the game you guys are playing? Well, go ahead, bring it. Let me see. Although they don't want to admit, they can try to admit that it's the admiralty law they'll follow because that's what they were told in 1938. But they will not admit why. They would not admit why. They would not say, well, that's because we are biatches to these international bankers. They own us. We're bankrupt. The reason we owe $30 trillion because we're slaves. You know, in fact, I can give you a quick history. It's like 1990. How much did we owe? It was $3 trillion. And then a few years later, another president, another few more trillion. Another few, in the time of Obama, another $9 trillion, just one president alone. And then what's his name? Trump came, another $6 trillion. Before you know, it's like, oh, now old Joe came. You know, Joe, whatever his name is, Joe, G.I. Joe Biden, that guy. Then this dude, he just became president like 1 year. Then there's another few trillion already added to the bill, to the debt. But now they cannot admit that, the $30 trillion, which is fake dollars, colorable dollars. Because if those $30 trillion, they were really, each dollar was really 30, whatever ounce of silver is right now. Let's say, ounce of silver is one thing, is one price. But an ounce of a American Eagle is higher than a regular ounce, which is crazy. I'm like, wow, because this Eagle, I'm like, I'm buying silver coins. I'm like, this one is this price. That's closer to, the price of an ounce of a silver. But this coin, although it's the same size as this coin, but it's an American Eagle, so this one is more important. It's more expensive. I'm like, what kind of ounce? So if those 30 trillion, if the House of the Rothschild, the so-called Illuminati, the so-called whatever secret societies running America, if they had to force America to pay them the $30 trillion back in real money according to the Constitution, real silver, let's say silver coin, one silver coin is $30. That's 30 times 30 trillion, man. So 10 times 30 trillion, that's 300 trillion. So 30, that's 3 times 300 trillion. That's $900 trillion. Who knows, with interest and everything? I don't even know. Okay, that's 100 trillion. I don't know. That type of money, I couldn't even do the math. That's different type of money. So if they had to pay it in real money, that's even more slave. Even worse for them. But no, they don't have to pay it in real money. Now, here's the problem now. The people they own the money to are the only people that can print the money. So if you don't print the money, how can you pay the people that print the money that you owe them? That makes no sense. It would have been easier if America, who owed them the money, America had the power to print the money. America would print the money and say, here's your money. But because America cannot print the money, and the people that owe the money to are the only people that can print the money, so it's only going to get worse. This is a big game. This is a joke. This is a bad business. This is a bad corporation. America is the worst corporation ever in the whole history of mankind. That makes no sense. The people you owe the money to, they're the only one, according to your law, that can print money. That makes no sense. So now, this is me, and I owe you money. Only you can print money. But I owe you money. I'm the one who got to give you money. But you don't want to print the money, but I owe you money. But in my law now, I write a law that you can print money. So let's put it in a gang terminology, gang example. Let's say if I was a blood, you're Crip. So I owe you money. I'm a blood, you're Crip. I owe you money, but every time you can print money, and you're gonna lend me money. But in my law, I write down only you can print money. That makes no sense. I would never do that. In my law, I'm gonna write that only you can print money, and I'm gonna owe you money. That would never happen. What kind of dumb thing is this? This is crazy. These people are jokes. These people are jokers. You are crazy. What? You people are crazy. Worse than crazy. It makes no sense at all. Well, I'm gonna have to stop this video here. There's still more. For those of you who want to hear about the law, who want more laws, more technicality of the laws, more really what's happening in the country that you live in, America. And those of you who's listening who don't live in America, then you get to hear what's really going on here. Hopefully, some of you can do videos like this about whatever country you're in, how you put up a crazy game. A bunch of crooks, criminals, gangsters, real gangsters are playing games with people's lives. And then people just like people are like mice inside that little cage, and that's spinning, and they keep running like mice, and they keep moving. They ain't going nowhere because they're inside that thing, and they think they're going somewhere. They ain't going nowhere. That's like somebody on a treadmill running, and you think you're going to the next town. No, you're on a treadmill. You ain't going nowhere. You can keep moving. You can increase the speed on the treadmill. You think you're moving. You ain't going nowhere. If you think you're going somewhere. If you think as you're moving, oh, wow, so far I'm already, if you're watching the treadmill, it says, oh, you already ran 5 miles. In your mind, you think you're 5 miles from where you started. No, you're not. You're still on that treadmill. That's America. You ain't going nowhere. So now it's 30 trillion. By the time old Joe done with his 4 years, if he doesn't die because he's very old, if he doesn't die, he does his 4 years, and then Donald Trump comes back again, because that's what's going to happen. And one thing with Donald Trump, oh yeah, this guy's gangster. This guy trying to warn the American people, yo, you guys are slaves. Yo, these people, they run everything. They run the media. They put lies whenever they want, and they say this is news. These are fake news. They run everything. We're the slaves. Stop. Say every time they're trying to say, well, where's your tax paper? No, man, get out my face. Donald Trump is gangster, the most gangster president that America has ever seen. Gangster. A lot of people don't understand this guy. This guy is gangster. This guy, this guy is really standing up to his masters. He's really standing up to his masters, although he knows he cannot pay them the money back, though. Although he still got to sign papers, say, okay, all right, print some money so I can give to these people since they're hungry. But he still, sometimes he talks BS to them. He talks, Donald Trump, I don't know, but he's still alive, though. They haven't touched him like they did Kennedy. They haven't touched him like they did Lincoln. He's still gangster. I'm like, wow. Donald Trump remind me of 6ix9ine, the rapper 6ix9ine, when he was talking all that BS. I'm like, oh wow, why is this guy still alive? Why is he not in jail? Because he keeps talking all this gangster stuff every day. Nobody's touching him. Not even the Fed's touching him. And then in the meantime, I knew the Fed was coming for him. I mean, the real Fed. I knew they were coming for him. I'm like, oh wow, this guy talking all this BS, and then nobody's touching him yet. And then he's talking all this thing, and the Fed is like parked right in front of his house, watching him. Oh wow, this is crazy. Well, with this, I'm gonna say shalom. Until the next video.